Our next guests have a Broadway comedy that showcases that very point. Joining us now, Tony Award winner Julie White and Saturday Night Live alum, Tony Award nominee Rachel Dratch. They co-star in the Broadway comedy entitled POTUS, or Behind Every Great Dumbass, are 7 women trying to keep him alive. It is a madcap farce about 7 female White House staffers as they scramble to protect the President of the United States after the Commander-in-Chief's use of a certain 4-letter word, which creates a PR nightmare. It's playing now in a strictly limited engagement at the Shubert Theater in New York City through August 14th, and they've already had some very high-profile audience members, including Hillary Clinton and others. I love it. This is also the first farce in Broadway history starring all women, written and directed by all women. So kudos to you all. I guess, Rachel, I'll start with you. You are Stephanie. Tell me about poor Stephanie and what compelled you to do this project, and what exactly do you hope audience members will come away with?
Well, Stephanie is, Stephanie is this White House secretary, and she starts out very meek and mild and trying to get the job done right. And then through a series of events, she ends up accidentally ingesting some hallucinogenics, and the whole rest of the second act, I am like off the rails. What appealed to me about this was the cast, Susan Stroman, the director, and just it's a big, broad comedy, but also has like some little messages woven throughout. But I really get to be a big clown in this, so it's a lot of fun.
I love it. And Julie White, you are Harriet. Tell us about Harriet. And this looks really fun, by the way.
Yeah, it is really, really fun. And Harriet is the chief of staff. And normally in a farce, the role that's like the engine of the farce, who kind of gets it started and is the thing, is definitely a guy. And it would be, you know, Zero Mostel or Nathan Lane or Gene Wilder. And I get to be that. I get to be that loud and that crazy. And it's just a tremendous cast. It's terrifically funny. It's definitely the funniest thing running right now. And we specifically didn't think it was political when we started it. I was like, this is just funny. This is a farce. Yes, it's set in the White House, but it's a fictional White House. But the way that things have unfolded, Mika, it has become this place where people are coming and expressing this kind of solidarity in their outrage, and somehow through laughter, it is actually kind of cathartic. And I'm really, really happy that we're doing it. And I wish we could do it longer, but we've got to stop on August 14th. So
oh my gosh.
Yeah.
Yeah, we got to get people in there. And Rachel, you know, she was talking, Julie, about this being cathartic. I was just thinking, like, probably sitting in the audience, as a woman, it would feel so validating.
Yeah, well, when we started in April with previews, like even then, at first people were laughing, this kind of rabid laughter, because you could feel like, oh, the pandemic's over and I'm so happy to be out, and that type of laugh. But then as things started unfolding politically and what it's like to be a woman right now in this country, like the whole thing kind of morphed, and it feels like this, like, lady power. Like, I can't.
Oh my God.
Like, I mean, guys are liking it too.
Yeah, and when Mrs. Clinton was there's a line in the play where Vanessa Williams, who plays the First Lady, says that someone asked her, why aren't you president? And she says, that's the eternal question, isn't it? And the audience literally in the middle of the show rose to their feet, turned towards Hillary, and applauded her for...
Oh, my God, like, that's amazing.
Over a minute, which is a long time in the theater.
But also,
that's amazing.
The POTUS that is referred to in this, you never see the president, and it's not a certain president. It's sort of like an amalgamation of, you know, a bunch of past presidents. So it doesn't really, you know, some people are like, is this Trump? It's not Trump.
No, but
it's not red or blue. It's just like women trying to make it in this political atmosphere.
Yeah, and like trying to, Harriet's definitely like waiting her turn to get to be the boss, but meanwhile doing all the work to keep this guy in power who really doesn't deserve it anymore.
And you both were nominated for Tonys. Congratulations to both of you for your performances in this.
Thank
and Rachel,
you.
this is your first time on Broadway. You step on stage the first time and they nominate you for a Tony. It's so cool. What was that like?
Oh my gosh. Well, I mean, I was already like, you know, we'd only been open for, I don't know, 10 days or something.
Oh, God.
So I was already like, I'm on Broadway. You know, have those like moments as an actor, like walking down the streets of New York, going, I achieved my dream. I'm on Broadway. And then like, boom, you know, double down on the dream because like that wasn't even on the list. But that was really amazing to be nominated, and Julie was as well. So we got to go to the Tonys.
We did. We got all dressed up,
Yeah.
and then we didn't win.
We didn't win, but in our hearts we won something.
Yeah, I don't know what that was about.
So Julie, as someone who's covered a couple White Houses now, I'll say the farce element sounds a little bit more like the Trump one than the current one. But let's end on a little more serious note. Obviously, there's a lot of political narratives right now in the real world, and it's particularly the Supreme Court's decision about Roe v. Wade that has put a spotlight on women, of course, around this country. Are you finding what you're doing night after night is resonating that much more with the audience in light of current events?
Yeah, it's terrifically so. There's also a moment in the play where a young character that you would not think does say something about safe reproductive health care as a basic human right. And it was initially sort of it was a throwaway, but now, I mean, after Roe went down, people stood up. It reminds me of you showing Selena Myers, that character on Veep. She said, if men could get pregnant, you could get an abortion at an ATM. So, yeah. The arts often does help us have a place to express these things. And we'll be okay. We just got to keep fighting.
We sure do. Julie White and Rachel Dratch, thank you both very much. And thank you for the laughs. You can catch POTUS on Broadway now through August 14th. Absolutely worth getting in there. Congratulations to both of you.